Hello and welcome to Now We're Talking, the show that looks at some of the week's top trending news stories online. I'm Mark Duffy, and together with my studio panel we'll be reviewing the news that you've shared through social media over the last 7 days. And has it been a busy one? Dominating the headlines this week was Theresa May's plans for Brexit and the inauguration of President Trump. But it hasn't all been about politics. We'll be meeting the famous too a little later in the show. Taking a look at this week's news, with me today in the studio is the writer Danielle Matthews and the DJ Valentino Tia. Welcome to you both.
Hello,
Thanks for having us.
This is your first time, Valentino.
It is quite nice. What a lovely studio and what a lovely guest we have here in Danielle.
Thank you very much.
I hear you're a book writer and all that. It's
poetry writer, yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Quite a creative panel, isn't it?
It is a creative panel because you're a DJ as well, aren't you? From Bermuda.
Bermuda, yes. I hail from the grand colony of Bermuda. And I've been a DJ since, I don't know, was knee-high to a grasshopper. And now I'm over here in England trying to spread the love of music.
And loving it.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it while we're doing it. Anyway, if you'd like to get involved with the discussion, why not send us a tweet here at That's Manchester using the hashtag That's Talk, or you can follow us on Facebook. But we start today with Brexit, and Theresa May has said that the UK cannot possibly remain within the European single market, as staying in it would mean not leaving the EU at all. In a speech on Tuesday, the PM promised to push for the freest possible trade with European countries and warned that the EU would try to punish the UK if it was an act of calamitous self-harm, if you like. She also said that Parliament would have a vote on the final deal that is agreed. Labour warns of enormous dangers in the Prime Minister's plans, and the European Parliament's lead negotiator said that there could be no cherry-picking by the UK in the exit talks. Mrs May used her much anticipated speech to announce her priorities for Brexit negotiations, including maintaining the common travel area between the UK and the Republic of Ireland and control of migration between the UK and the EU. So what were the main points of Mrs May's speech? Well, having previously not publicly committed either way, Mrs May confirmed that the UK cannot remain a member of the single market after it leaves the EU. She says that this was because, as European leaders have stressed, that the UK would have to accept EU rules and regulations and be bound by the European Court of Justice. Instead, she said that the UK would push for a new comprehensive free trade agreement, giving it the greatest possible access to the single market. So, Brexit again. It seems like every time I'm on the sofa here with you, Danielle, we're talking about Brexit. But it was a big speech this week. Did you see it, Valentino?
You know what? I think kudos to Theresa May for giving it a go. I mean, she's just got there and she's giving it. She's trying to show us that she's on the job.
Do you not think she is?
I believe, what I feel, my personal opinion is that I read the papers and I watch the news and whatnot. What they feed us in the press here in the UK is done to make her look like the new Prime Minister in the best.
She is the new Prime Minister.
Yes, but in the best light possible. We've got to give her an image.
So it's biased.
Yes, she wasn't voted for. She ended up in this situation. It's a bit biased because I fear that the European press are a bit harder on us than they're letting us.
It is interesting. It's funny you should say that. I think I kind of get where you're going with that, Valentino. A couple of newspaper front pages on Wednesday showed obviously Theresa May depicted, this was in the Daily Mail, Theresa May depicting that the new Iron Lady, this is what we want for Britain, we are going to get this, right. We are going to be big, strong, proud nation and all that. But then you look at some of Germany's headlines and they're picturing her as Little Britain. She doesn't stand she doesn't stand a chance and that kind of thing.
I just think I don't buy it. I mean, Theresa May is supposed to be giving these concrete iron ideas and proposals and talking about Brexit. But she was saying the exact opposite last April. Her comments were pretty much the opposite of what she's come out with now. I know that she's pressured into saying certain things because now she has to toe the party line and say, yeah, Brexit was great.
Yeah.
Last year she was saying the opposite, so I don't know how much credibility that gives her.
She has to deliver on what the public's voted for. So even though it was a slim margin, the general public have said we want to leave the EU.
Yeah.
So she has to deliver on that, doesn't she?
But it affects the credibility, surely, like I say, because everyone does remember. You'll still remember, even if we know her job is, she has to then back this and say it's a good idea and this is what we're going to do and find these trade agreements. But like I say, if you're just remembering back at less than a year ago, I think that does harm her credibility because she was not staying firm.
When you're a leader of a state, part of your job is to be what's on the cereal box. She didn't have
Follow the job description, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So we have to. It's like branding.
Yeah.
Selling advertisements. You have to sell an image. We had the Iron Lady thing. That's all we had to reference.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
What do you think?
Nothing else to reference. So we've got to create an image for this woman.
Do you think, though, Valentino, if we're leaving the EU now, we're going to be doing it in 2 years' time.
Yes.
We would have left
I
the
imagine
EU.
the Europeans just want us to go.
Do they?
They just want us to just get on with it, Britain. You know.
Do you think then that they will be a little bit?
I bet it's a whole lot of paperwork that we've never even imagined seeing.
Okay.
That's probably what sent.
Do you think they'll be a little bit funny with us though if we leave and then we want to try and negotiate a trade deal?
I think this is going to be an issue of who do they think they are. That's
offended.
What the EU or us?
Well, I mean,
they said that about us.
France is having an election coming June and whatnot, and I heard rumours that they also might be considering. Or was it? No, was it France or Italy? But anyway,
France is having one. Yeah, the vote before Christmas when the Italian Prime Minister resigned.
Right.
That was to do with renegotiating Italy's constitution, which includes the the European stuff. Yeah.
And am I right in saying that they are also? Is it France or Italy are considering leaving the EU?
Possibly. Well, it depends. It depends who gets in as.
So the whole thing could just crumble. This is the funny thing. The whole EU thing can crumble.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of benefits of being in the EU, and like trade. This thing, we're talking about exports. I saw a statistic saying, "Oh, well, we export much more to the Republic of Ireland and all this lot than we do to these far-flung European countries." But we still do rely on them a lot, and it is a big bolster to the economy, isn't it? So I think if more people do leave, it's probably not the best news for economic.
I don't want to get off topic.
Putting the EU aside, then the European bloc aside, Boris Johnson this week has said that there are people queuing up to do a trade deal with the UK once we've left the EU. What do you make of those?
I think he's got to say stuff, you know. I think he's got to say stuff. He's got his new job. He's got to say stuff.
Well, do you think the US would want to be,
I think
front of the queue?
The entire world's politics at the moment are up in the air because America, being the superpower that it is, has the most unlikely president in history. I don't think anyone in the world knows what's going to happen here with Trump. And I think how it affects us is that I don't think anyone in the United Nations knows where they stand anymore. We've got a lot of issues with Korea, and we've got issues with Russia, and we're all supposedly working together to make this world a better place. With terrorism on the rise as it is, I think there's a lot of nervousness. Theresa May is fighting for Brexit, but she was Remain, right?
Yeah.
And they had their paperwork. Now they've had to readjust their whole party, go through their closet and take out all the old clothes and put in some new stuff that doesn't fit.
I mean, one of the things about Brexit though was the control of immigration, and do you think obviously that's going to be a good thing for the UK, that they can just put up the door, if you like, and say no more coming in? We
have immigration controls at the minute. It's not like it's just an open door and everyone waltzes in without saying an invitation. No, it's not. The press might want people to believe that it is people strolling in from all over the show, but they do have regulations and controls. I think leaving European Union, that will only decrease maybe the ease of which some people can go through. You know, if you've got a European passport, people will still want to enter the country and we will still allow people in. I don't know how much of a big difference it's really going to make.
My main concern at the moment is what happens to people like me, you know. Because I've said to someone after Brexit, you know, with all the stuff that came up, with the hate crime on the rise and whatnot, what's concerning me, and it reflects back to what we're talking about with the EU dealing and stuff, you have one side of the puzzle which deals with the community, the people, the races, the nationalities, you know, the countries and the conflicts. And you have another side that deals with the money, the budget, the pound, the worth.
And can they be put together?
Can you do one, or it's like we're in a world situation with a global economic crisis, and we've got a migrant issue that one of these hands is going to dominate the next 4 years of politics.
Do you think, briefly, that Brexit will rectify some of these issues, though? That you know, we'll become stronger as a nation, trade-wise, we get more control over immigration, that kind of thing?
This is what I mean. If we do that, we're going to end up in a situation like, I believe, like with Donald Trump coming in, it's going to be all about the money and the business and the trade agreements, and forget the people and the issues that are important to the people.
We'll leave it there, Valentino, but we'll take a quick break now. Still to come, though, the last act of kindness by President Obama and the inauguration of President Trump. We'll see in a few minutes.